What's up? Guess what, George? MMA news. A lot of MMA news.
Shocker.
Yeah. Do you want to talk real quick about the Shogun Henderson fight? Because
sure.
It was. I mean,
Hendo knocked him out.
Yeah, it was a good fight, and then it was over with. Yeah. So we're done talking about it.
And that was his last fight on TRT, which might be his last fight ever. Then.
Yeah.
43 years old. No more drugs.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. I mean, but
Drug
you know what?
was
Shogun just.
They both.
You know what's funny? He was loading up that right. He's loading up that right, and
you watch the video?
Yeah,
you haven't seen that shit yet?
I've seen it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got caught, man. He got caught, and I didn't see it coming. He didn't see it coming. Nobody saw it coming, except for Dan. It's another win in his illustrious career. But enough of that. Let's talk about MMA news. You had some news that you want to talk about.
Hendricks is out with a torn bicep.
Yeah.
Weidman, however you want to say his name. Mm-hmm. Him. He had to have both knees operated on for minor. Have you ever had a minor surgery? Have you ever had a minor surgery?
No, all mine have been major.
Right.
Yeah.
Put it this way.
They cleaned it up so it's considered minor. So there's no tear.
Do you go under anesthesia?
Well, yeah, if you got...
Then it's a major surgery.
Yeah, because
there's no guarantee your ass is coming back out of anesthesia.
Right, yeah, anytime.
So in my opinion, whether it's getting your teeth removed from your head, or if they're just realigning a bone or doing... If you go under anesthesia and you have to be intubated, then no, that's a major surgery.
Yeah, like for example, like when I got my wisdom teeth pulled out, I'm like, the guy goes, it's going to cost, I think $1,400. I'm like, for what? He goes, because we got to put you under. I'm like, do you have to put me under? And he's like, no, and I'm like, pull the fucking teeth.
So in 1926, they put a piece of leather in his mouth and he tore out his teeth.
And he pulled that shit. That's how it went down in 1926. And then the Model T came out a couple years later. Anyway.
So why, I don't see how, like I said, if you get intubated and you get anesthesia, well, it's when they shove the tube down your throat.
Right. It just sounds big. No, go ahead.
Anyway, to me, there is no minor surgery if you get intubated.
Right.
If you get intubated, it's a major surgery. I don't give a damn.
Okay.
Coming from somebody who's had 1, 2, 3, and going to have his 4th in September.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Weidman's out. That backed everything up 30 days. That's going to be interesting because you had the meniscus, which is the cushioning around your knee. That's for all you people who have, when your arthritis starts to go, your meniscus, your padding, all that stuff.
Just fades.
Yeah, it starts to go away.
It's a minor surgery now, though, because it's so common.
Right, but trimming it away, that means you have less there as you get older.
Yeah.
It doesn't grow back.
Yeah, I mean, a bad meniscus, they just take it away and that fixes it. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, so then you got bone on bone. There's no padding in between that bone. So
they got to come up with some better surgeries.
I'm leg kicking the piss out of him. I am. I'm going to destroy his front leg.
That's the thing, dude. It's like so many of these residual effects from these surgeries with these athletes. You see, George and I over the years have said, man, that guy's old. You look at someone like
Hendo, Shogun.
Well, Hendo's old. Literally, he's
43.
43, but Shogun is 32. He's 32 years old. And when we say old, people are like, he's 32. We're like, we know he's 32. But look at how many fights he's had at 32 years old. He's beat the fuck up.
Who's the last UFC guy who you saw after a fight, you thought, yeah, he could fight again in 30 minutes? Because that's what they did in Pride. Yeah. They fought 2 or 3 times in one night. Yeah. And Shogun was part of that.
Yeah.
Now you look at Shogun, and after that fight, it doesn't look like he's ready to fight for 6 or 7 months.
No, and now that's how it is. It's like, the doctors say, okay, you're fucking suspended for 60, 90 days?
With no contact. And
now, that's how it should be.
Do you know who the biggest injury news came upon in the last 48 hours?
No, I'm not sure. Fill me in.
GSP.
What happened with GSP?
Tore his other ACL.
Just training?
Yep.
What's he training for? Movies?
I don't know, dude.
Track events?
Alright, whatever he's training for, he needs to back the fuck off. Because if you're blowing out your ACL in training, you need to relax.
That's the thing, dude.
I tore my ACL playing sports, so I didn't tear it training.
Yeah. I mean, we're in an age where, when I had my first hip surgery, I was like, wow, I was a little depressed. I felt like I was young. And then I had it resurface. Then I went back a couple years later to get it done, fixed. And I was like, wow. There's a lot of people in this fucking lobby my age. Between training for sports, CrossFit, any way or anything that you do to stay in shape. George, because you bang out CrossFit all the fucking time. You're like this. This hurts. My knee hurts. You're getting your shoulder done. Our bodies are just not made. Our bodies are anatomically built to walk long distances. And anytime.
That's the Indians.
Anyway, we'll get to that. You see injuries, and you see the life of the athlete going like this. You know,
it's the amount of stuff we're putting our bodies through as human beings. It's just, and it's starting to take your toll. And then you take people who are at an extremely high level, whether any sport, and you have to train to be ready to do that sport. And in mixed martial arts, it's not singular focused training anymore. It's you have to be multidimensional, expect anything. A lot like a basketball player or a football guy. You can't just focus on doing pulling movements or pressing movements. You have to be able to move laterally and doing it under heavy loads.
Right.
And that's a lot. Your knees and elbows and shoulders are not meant to carry that kind of weight, move that kind of people, and take that kind of pounding. So
especially, you look at like elbows and knees, and you're using these hinge joints to blow, to strike people. And I mean, the joint, especially a knee, it not only bends and it's a hinge joint, but it supports your body, and then you're using it to hit somebody hit somebody. I'm just
thinking the rehab for a jaw, because that's used to blow too. So
yeah,
anyway,
I mean, some fucking porn stars go through that. I mean, I wonder if more porn stars end up in the lobby of fucking. Do they have a prosthetic jaw now?
Take all their teeth out.
Robo blow. Oh my god, that'd be a great name for a fucking porn. Robo blow.
So there's our injury update in
Drop
the
your
MMA world.
trousers. I'm done. Oh. Jesus.
Oh, by the way, people liked my joke last week. People liked
last
my joke.
week? You mean 2 weeks?
2 weeks ago? Whatever, man.
Which joke?
The joke. The jury's out.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was some funny shit. Anyway, staying in the MMA arena or Octagon.
This was a ring.
Yeah, this was actually a ring.
Back to Muay Thai for her.
It's back to Muay Thai, and I'm sure a lot of you realize that Cris Cyborg said, you know what, I'm going to do another Muay Thai fight, and you don't fight Muay Thai Dutch girl fighters because all they do is kick and knee bitches. And
Cyborg got her ass whipped.
Yeah, and she fought, what's the girl's name? Jordina Baars, and
she fought. Look, the thing you love about Cyborg is you know what you're getting. You're getting a robot who's constantly coming forward and constantly looking to destroy their target.
Probably why they call her Cyborg.
Right. But in the process, when you go in against somebody who's 3 or 4 inches taller than you, and they wrap you up by the back of your head, and the next thing you know is you're eating their kneecap, it just didn't look good.
It just didn't look good. And I mean, we have to give credit to Jordina Baars, because she's a girl that couldn't even get fights. She was dormant for like 3 years because no one wanted to fight this tall girl because she's that good of a striker.
They need to put her in MMA.
Somebody needs to teach her how to sprawl and teach her some ground game, because she could be nasty in MMA. Now, with that being said,
the problem is, what was the weight? Did they say what weight they fought at? Because that's the problem.
It was
a girl that tall. She ain't making 135.
They fought at 145.
Okay.
145, I think, because that's the weight she usually fights at. So
and that's a tough class to find women in right now, to be honest.
Yeah, because Bantam's 135, Feather's 145, so 145.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is the thing, and this is what George and I were talking about. Okay, there was a little bit of that fight, and when you can see it on MMA Fighting, they have the whole fight there, and you see her this girl's just nailing Cyborg.
It's lion fights.
It's lion fights.
The name of the production.
Yeah, and Cyborg looked a little rusty, and she didn't look as good. I mean, obviously her physique is much softer. And back years ago, when we were saying she was juiced up and she was hitting, not that it took away from anything, but just her overall
physical.
physique.
You could see, dude, seriously, for
you
all
can
you people,
see the difference.
I'll be back. I'm just look at it. All you need to do is take a look at this fight and then go back and look at some of her old fights, and you'll go, that's what they're talking about. And then it will all make sense.
It all makes sense.
It just will all make sense.
And you guys will understand that we're not picking on these athletes.
Nope.
We're being brutally honest.
Time out. Kevin and I are going to be 100% honest. If we were 20 and you told me, put this needle in your ass, you're going to go out there and be on TV and you're going to fight, which cheek and how long?
Yeah. I'll take the shit. Yeah. Everybody else is hitting it.
We're not saying don't do it. We're not saying do it. But when we say you're doing it, or we have a pretty good idea you're doing it, just trust us.
Yeah, we're gonna call it the way we see it. You know. I think obviously we're going to be wrong in some cases, but I doubt it.
I'm just, right now, I have a clock on the wall that it's Hector Lombard's face, and it's just waiting, because there's going to be a time.
Because that guy is...
If Usmar Paul Hollis is on shit, look at his physique and look at Hector Lombard's physique, and then you tell me what looks different. Oh, wait, they don't.
Yeah.
They look identical.
Right. No, they don't look identical, because Lombard's a little bit leaner.
Well, yeah, he's even drier.
He's even drier.
Like, when your skin's that grainy and shit. Come on. But anyway, you've heard this from us before.
Okay. Now... So, we look at Cyborg, who they're saying, okay, well, they were going to bring in the UFC, possibly a possible future bout with her and Ronda Rousey or whatever. But you know what's funny? In the mix of all this about Cyborg, she doesn't look as sharp, and she just lost. But a lot of people, and there's been discussion about Gina Carano coming back and fighting Ronda Rousey. And I'm going to tell you what, feel like Gina Carano was really fucking robbed. Because when she fought, she had beat everybody and gone through everybody. And you know what? She fought Cyborg, probably the best competition for Cyborg when Cyborg was juiced up. But the key word was Cyborg was juiced up. And she lost, her only loss in her record in MMA was to a juiced up Cris Cyborg. And she's a big girl. She has great stand up. She knows how to shake you off. I'd like to see a fight between her and Ronda Rousey. You know what I'm saying? Now,
question.
Here we go.
Just to play devil's advocate, because this is what I enjoy doing. And this is gonna. There's a correlation, but you just got to bear with me.
Correlation.
You got to bear with me.
Okay.
So I'm a pitcher. I'm throwing the ball to Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds hits 10 home runs off of me in my pitching career. Mark McGwire hits 10 home runs. Sammy Sosa hits 10 home runs. So out of the home runs I've given up, 30 are against these people. Should they still be on my record, or should all those home runs have asterisks? As a pitcher, if I'm giving one, because that hurts my ERA. So my ERA is jacked up. My potential to get a new job is jacked up, and I'm giving up home runs to people who are all juiced up.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, that's what's fucked up about, you know.
Because here's the thing. Until she did test positive, we all just said,
okay, whatever.
Right. Bonds never tested. McGwire never tested. Sosa never tested.
Well, with the baseball players, we're like this, but with Cris Cyborg, you and I said it all the time.
Oh yeah, no, we did, but I'm just saying. I mean, this is how letting juiced up players play with normal players affects you. Because let's just like that baseball thing I just said. If I'm a pitcher and you're fucking my ERA up and you're cheating, you're hurting my potential to make money.
Right.
So in this case, Gina Carano was like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. Yeah. But now it turned out, in my opinion, better for her.
Yeah, because she's
doing movies.
Doing movies and
Pornhub.com. Oh, that's Tina Carano. My bad.
It's tubebait.com. You got it all fucked up, man.
No, they're all part of a family. Don't get hit.
Right.
Don't.
Right, umbrella.
Yeah, right now. Don't. This is my.
I know.
Wheelhouse.
I
got
I'm
this.
Sorry. My bad.
Alpha porno. X-hamster.
Yeah. A couple other them under there.
Porn rabbit.
That's
interesting.
Yeah. They're all animals with porn in front of them, actually. Yeah. Anyway, but it does raise. It could be a super fight. If Gina Carano comes back to the UFC, I mean. I seriously, in my opinion, you can't, Cyborg didn't, I don't know if they tested her. I mean, I don't know what happened back then, because it was Strikeforce. It wasn't UFC.
And remember, it's up to the state they were fighting.
Did
Strikeforce ever fight in Vegas? Did Strikeforce ever held an event that Cyborg was on in Vegas?
I don't know. They were all over the place.
Right. Yeah. They were in weird places.
And I'm going to tell you what.
Like the Denny's in Delaware.
This Muay Thai fight that was in this fucking ring last night was in Vegas. And Cris Cyborg was a soft Cris Cyborg. Now, she still was hung in there all 5 rounds, but she just was not the fighter that she used to be. And you got to give credit to this girl. This girl's tall, throws front snap kicks. She hit her with a knee that knocked her down like 30 seconds in the fight.
Kicked her up back.
Karate chop upside her head.
Now, while we're still on this, and while I was thinking about what Kevin was just saying, if Gina Carano were to come back to the UFC, if I'm Ronda Rousey, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to fight you. I know she went out there and said the right thing and said, yeah, I'd love to fight her, but she has nothing to gain. Yep. Nothing to gain and everything to lose. Okay, so you beat up Gina Carano, okay? She hadn't fought in 5 years, 6 years. So that doesn't look good. Yeah. You lost to Gina Carano. Why did you lose to a fighter who hasn't fought in 5 or 6 years?
Yeah,
like this is
really not good. Yeah.
There's a no-win situation for Ronda Rousey.
Do you think, to me, at some point, and this is the thing, why it's so young, in just women's MMA, I think at any point in time, really, it's kind of like that. Did you just fart, man?
No, I kicked.
Okay.
But women's MMA needs that. They need a super fight. They need something. Let it be a catchweight at 140. Yeah. And she should fight Gina Carano at 140.
Because she was willing to do catchweight with Cris. She said Cyborg. No. She said she wasn't going to do it. Oh, Cris Cyborg said she'd come to 140. Yes. That's what it was. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
but anyway, so that's where we're... The other weird thing in MMA, and maybe you can... I want your opinion on this, because we put this on our Facebook group, and this was my opinion on it. And Diaz, because it's what? Nick's the one who's been out, right?
Nick, yeah.
Right. Nick sat there during the Hendricks fight and just sat there and ran his mouth the entire fight. Ran his mouth at the weigh-in, ran his mouth at the fight. My thing is...
Trying to run his mouth into a fight.
Right. How do you think that you get to behave the way you have, go into retirement, and then your first fight out of retirement should be for the belt? And I've said this before. If this shit happens, this will be a travesty to the sport.
Yeah. But you know what? The bottom line is, and I agree with George, but the thing is that promoters, and we saw with Don King in the 80s and stuff like that, they're all about fucking I don't care if you're next in line. I care about who is going to make the biggest draw so I can fill my pocket.
But do you want to see that?
Huh?
The guy's been away for so long, and that personality.
Well, but the thing is that when it's making him that much money, then that answers your question. The majority want to see it.
Do you think Nick has the draw power? With being away from the sport for as long as he has, without getting into a fight with other people, without giving him a chance to talk this thing up?
I don't think he does, and I don't think it'll happen because of that. I mean, because I think 2 years ago he would have, but now there's welterweight classes so stacked.
They'd have to put Nick in. Nick would have to beat somebody in the top 5 and give him a chance to talk into this fight and build up, because MMA is getting new fans every day.
Right.
There's going to be fans who are still here who understand who Nick Diaz and what he's about.
Right.
There's going to be some people who just don't understand it. So to bring Nick Diaz back into the fold, he'd have to have a setup fight.
Yeah.
You cannot just stick him in a
championship. And you know who was actually had setup fights? Chael Sonnen kept having setup fights at people, and it gave him a little bit of credibility. Every time he got a title shot or he fought somebody of true significance, he lost. What?
That whole family's completely antisocial.
Yes.
Yeah. They have problems in front of cameras. Mm-hmm. So why not put them in the house? Why not make your next Ultimate Fighter house Nick Diaz is one coach, Johny Hendricks is the other coach?
Because Nick Diaz might fucking steal somebody on a sneak tip right now. So
well,
I'll watch it.
I'm going to tell you what.
Yeah.
Well, why not?
Yeah.
Your next American Ultimate Fighter should seriously, if you're going to bring Nick Diaz in and you want time to build this up, there you go.
But I mean, you see right now what's happening when they're showing the clips of Vanderlei and
it's crazy. Yeah. I wish I could watch it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Fucking Fight Pass.
I'll fucking fight that. I won't watch it.
No, I refuse.
Huh?
I refuse.
Yeah.
If I watch the shit, it's going to be on bootleg off YouTube when somebody puts it
Because
up.
I'm not going to watch the whole season to see a couple good clips of some shit like that.
Right, because we're going to see it anyway. But anyway, is there anything else and like we said, GSP got hurt, so we discussed all that.
GSP got hurt. It was one other thing I thought that we wanted to talk to. Oh, Robbie Lawler is set to meet Jake Ellenberg at UFC 173. That's going
to be a fucking fight.
That's going to be a good fight.
And I hope Lawler wins because I want to see him fight Hendricks. So who's Hendricks lined up to fight then?
Well, Hendricks is going to have a little bit of time off because of his. I think that if he returns, if Lawler can keep winning, he might get a reshot.
Yeah, but can you imagine? But if Lawler loses this fight, that just.
Yeah,
because think about the previous 170s. We've seen guys at 170 lose to the title, knowing the champ's going to be off, be like, I'm not fighting until I get my rematch. Yeah. We've seen that happen. Yeah. So I commend Robbie Lawler for getting back into the ring.
Yeah, well, Robbie Lawler's. I mean, you know what? This guy right now, he's good. They know everybody argues that, man, he lost the fight on rounds because he did lose. I mean, I wanted to see him win the fight,
but he had nothing.
But he had nothing. He won 2 rounds convincingly, but he lost the other 3.
That was a war. It was a good fight.
Yeah, but he's the kind of guy. It's like, okay, I'm in a point now where I'm making good money in the UFC. I'm gonna fight. I can make I can probably make 250, 300, close to $500,000 a fight if I fight.
And for you people out there who have been paying attention, you need to go read the article about Johny Hendricks' camp. That's an interesting setup they have out there.
Right.
It's different.
Now let's